So here are a few tricks that you can use to keep the back of your tongue down, the mouth open, and consistently aiming the voice onto the back of the hard palate. All of which is done while making sure that the E sounds like an E and not like eh or the I sound. Number 1, morph from an ah to an E. Now this particular approach is available to you as an audio exercise download, but can be practiced a cappella as well. Because ah is for the most part the easiest vowel to sing overall, and because ah is the purest vowel to which all other vowels are related, we can use this vowel as a tool to help our E's become easier to sing and to help them become more natural and pure in their sound. In other words, we can use ah to make the E more ah-ish. All we need to do is this. Simply hold out an ah on a single note and slowly but steadily slide the voice to the E sound. Now, there will be a point in between these two sounds where the E will have some of the characteristics of the ah. Hopefully, the back of the tongue will remain lowered. The tone will still be aimed in the back of the hard palate, and the mouth will remain relatively open. So, if you have the ah open and clear, which of course we should, because again, ah is the easiest vowel to sing correctly, we can then slowly slide from the ah to the E vowel, again, making the E more ah-ish. The E would then become more relaxed, more natural sounding, and more clear in its tone quality, just like the ah. Now, one extremely important detail that you must focus on while performing this exercise is stop sliding ah and hold the vowel steady the second we distinctly hear that it became an E. Let me repeat that. Stop sliding the ah and hold the vowel steady the second we distinctly hear that it has become an E. A student will sing ah and start closing the mouth to form the vowel E. And instead of stopping as soon as they reach the correct mouth opening, they go too far and close the mouth more than they should, and therefore negatively changing the vowel's tonal quality. A raising of the tongue will also be seen when we morph from an ah to its mirror image E. So remember, stop shifting the vowel the second it distinctly sounds like an E. Now, before I demonstrate how to approach this exercise correctly, I want to mention another important detail while working with this exercise, that is not to hold the ah real long and then quickly at the end of it finally slide it into an E. Let me repeat that again. We should not hold the ah real long and then quickly at the end of it finally slide into an E. We need to steadily morph the ah into the E. The whole point of this exercise is to make the E more relaxed and pure as the ah vowel is. We need to slowly shift from one to the other because it is at that midpoint between the two vowels that is the issue. We don't want to blow by this transition. Slowly move from ah to E and watch out for quick jumps. Again, it is that the midpoint between the two vowels that is the issue here. So let me now demonstrate this for you. Now, another tool that we use here is the vowel sound ah to help our E. We are going to morph from the vowel sound ah to an E, and we're trying to get the E to be more ah-ish. Take a listen. I'm going to slowly go from ah to E. And right there, as soon as it became like an E, I held it. Now, what unfortunately a lot of us do is once we get to that point where it's like an E, we keep on going and we keep on closing it and closing it. It does this. There, I went too far. Again, the second it sounds like E, you kind of want to hold that. Okay? I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to do it correctly.
ah to E. Now, when I say to slowly change it, that's really the hardest thing in the world, because what happens is people will sing ah and then quickly go to the E. It's the in-between part that's so hard. Your tongue at those positions wants to start tightening and do crazy things on you. Slowly, slowly morph from an ah to an E. Let me do it one more time, and I'm going to lower it. And there it was. Now you're going to notice just by closing the mouth, the vowel sound will change. First it'll be ah, then it's going to be like an sound, and then it's going to be like an and then and eventually e. It's amazing what the different shapes of our mouth, how it can produce different vowels. So it does change into different vowels until finally it gets to the most closed one, which of course is E.
Now this next approach is really quite funny sounding when we think about its simplistic description of using the little finger as a gauging tool to set the tongue into shape. We almost don't want to do this exercise just for the very fact that it sounds kind of silly and is even kind of gross. So, we think, why bother? And yet it really is a perfect technique in learning how to control the tongue and mouth opening for this vowel, both at the same time. I don't think that I could invent a better tool to place my tongue in the right position. The little finger is the perfect shape, it's the perfect length, and it is readily available at any time. And it even has a built-in sensory system that alerts us when the tongue is raising. It's almost as if the voice was built around this finger. What we do is place the little finger inside the mouth with the nail pointing up. We then want to shape the finger to the shape of the hard palate. Now, the middle knuckle needs to rest on the alveolar ridge, which is the shelf right behind the upper front teeth. And the nail should be touching the back of the hard palate. You will see that the finger is in this position and it's right around the same length as the hard palate. So it's like this. Now, all you need to do is close the lower jaw onto the back of the finger and begin to sing your E. So you then have the perfect channel for the sound to travel through, and the mouth itself will be at the perfect opening. Now obviously when you first do this, the E won't sound like E at all. It may sound again like I or eh, but keep trying. Your tongue is going to freak out on you. It's going to react to the finger placement by flattening itself out. Just keep trying to sing an E and let it relax. It will settle down. Now, I know it will feel weird and for some a little gagging, but I assure you it will pass. And after everything settles down and you are singing E despite the fact that you have a finger in your mouth, take a mental snapshot of that feeling of holding the tongue in this position. After you have committed this feeling to memory, you can then pull the finger out of the mouth, keeping the shape as if the finger was still present. So, I will now demonstrate how to sing E using the finger as a gauge.
All right, now we're going to be talking about how to use our little finger as a gauging tool inside of our mouth to keep the tongue down. Again, it's really kind of amazing that the little finger is a perfect shape and it's the perfect size to help us with this. You see, we want to have a gap from the back of our throat all the way to the front, about that big, and it's so the sound can come out of our mouth. If we block that sound, it has nowhere to go and it gets trapped. And as you know, trapping sound is not what sound wants to do. It wants to move. If we don't let the sound come out of the mouth, it'll come out our nose then, or eventually our ears, or whatever. Okay? So I'm going to sing E. This is what you can do at home. I'm going to stick my finger inside my mouth, like this, Now, my big knuckle here is right behind my upper front teeth. And the nail part is touching the back of my hard palate. So the finger itself is riding along the roof of my mouth, like this. Okay? Now, I'm going to sing E. I had a space about the width of my finger. Now, if I didn't, it would do this. And there it is. This is something you can do, again, on your own. And you want to remember the feeling of keeping the back of the tongue down when you're singing E. One helpful trick that I often ask my students to do is to try to sing E with a full mouth opening. Now, of course, that's overkill. We would never really do that in a song, but we can get pretty close to it. Remember, the mouth needs to be open at least, I always stress that, at least the width of a fingertip. Now, I'm going to do my best to sing E with a full mouth opening, just to prove that it can be done. Amazing. E does not require to have a very, very small mouth opening. And there are some teachers out there that even tell us to smile when we sing E. E, like that. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, all smiling does when we sing E is tighten the neck up. If you can see here, if I smile hard enough, it tightens my neck. Okay? I'm not telling you not to smile when you sing, but do it for a different reason. Do it because the song itself is calling for that, not because you have to do it because you're singing E. That's ridiculous. And again, there are a lot of teachers that teach this stuff. We want to sing these vowels and not have to rely on the way our mouth is open or closed. Okay? The more open, the better. That's the rule. Not that one has to be shaped this way. Again, there are some teachers that teach that O, when you sing O, you have to have rounded lips. That is not true. In English, there is only one vowel sound, one that require the lips, and that is oo, and that's it. Even the sound O itself has, of course, two vowels because it's a diphthong. It has and then oo. Oh. And the only time I rounded there was on the oo part. Okay? So again, I would highly recommend that you take one of your vocalises that you have that you can sing E with and try to sing it with a full mouth opening. I'm going to do a scale that way. Let's see what it sounds like. Me. Not bad. It sounded full, and to tell you the truth, physically inside my mouth, it was easy to do that. It was 1,000 times harder for me to do it with my mouth shut.
In closing, I would like to encourage you to work on your eval as often as you can until you have replaced the old habits with the new habits. You then need to constantly monitor this vowel, making sure it maintains its integrity. E occurs too often not to take it seriously. Singing E with a tight tongue, closed mouth, or with improper projection can really make the voice sound bad. It'll sound harsh, strained, and increase our chances of cracking. So, work on it often, because again, old habits seldom disappear fully. They are only replaced with new habits. This habit is hard to replace, and we can easily go back to our old ways. Remember, time's arrow is always pointing down, as life demonstrates to us through a constant state of increased entropy. I am Stephen Childs of virtualvoicelessons.net, and I would like to say thank you and God bless.